Hey, hi Tanya.
Hi,
How are you?
I am good. How are you
Good,
doing?
good. Thank you so much. So let's begin our session for today. I've already seen mamas joining in. Hey, mommies, hey, everyone. Very warm welcome. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you all have been giving us and made us realize the power of women and the women supporting another women. It is rightly said, be the woman who fixes another woman's crown without even letting her know that it is crooked. And to support the same, today we begin with our new series, a new segment, and a new category where we will be introducing you with a new mother, a new face, a new part, a new motivation, who's not only nurturing an entrepreneurial streak but simultaneously juggling with her home, family life, and her work. She might have started very small, but the world knows her. And at Nutrizoe, we call them Zoomoms. So today, let's start our first series with our first Zoomom. She always calls herself Noor's Mama. Let's welcome Tanzi Mommy as the world knows. A very warm welcome, Tanya Maharbis, to our platform. It's our honor to have you here.
Thank you so much, Nisha, for such sweet and kind words. I did not expect this, but thank you so much.
You're always welcome. To introduce her, I'll also add that she's a certified child and maternal nutritionist, yoga instructor, and for many mommies, she is a A to Z guidebook for their baby care. She really believes in practical parenting. So before anything, she is a real mom. So Tanya, I would really like to know what exactly gave birth to your platform, Tanzi Mommy.
Right. I am a kind of a person who cannot sit at home doing nothing.
Okay.
And even when I did not have news, I was working and only the weekends were off. And I would never take a day off. Like I would always be doing something. So when I gave birth to Noor and the lockdown was also there, and obviously with a small baby, you can't go anywhere.
Of course.
So I was kind of stuck and I didn't have anything to do. And so since I was and am a researcher by profession, so I used to research a lot on all these common baby problems where I was also facing. And I was always complaining that why can't there be one place where I get answers to all my questions? So, so a friend had come over one day and she said that, you spend so much time researching and you're always complaining also. Why don't you start your own page? And I was like, I don't even know how to run Instagram. I don't even know how to put a story. How do you expect me to do it? So, she set up the account for me and she told me that you do it.
Okay.
I'll help you. So she taught me the basics and that's all. I mean, it started off as a platform to help other moms, benefit from the research that I had already done, and so that I could provide them a platform where they could find answers to everything in one place.
One place, definitely. So that is something a mother looks so, and friends are always there to guide us in the right direction. So very thanks to
Right.
that friends who suggested you that, and there are so many mothers who are now benefited because of your those research. So tell me something. How was your pregnancy journey?
So it was pretty tough. So initially, the first 3 months, I had really bad nausea, and I could not really get anything down my throat. I was only living on eggs, cheese, and bread. I had formed this, kind of repulsion to Indian food, haldi, all these spices.
Okay,
So I
okay.
was living on this, and then by the time I reached my 5th month, the first lockdown happened. And then after on, my entire pregnancy was inside my house only doing jhadu pocha and bartan. And I had no help, so me and my husband were alone.
Right.
So yeah, I had a lot of issues because especially in the third trimester, I was so mentally disturbed by the fact that I was locked up inside. I couldn't even go out for a walk. And on top of that, I had to work so hard to make food for myself. I had to clean the house and do everything, even though my husband was there. But cooking and everything was supposed to be done by me. So basically, I always used to long, that time when I could enjoy during my pregnancy, go out, shop, and eat whatever I want to. But nothing like that happened, and I was stuck at home, just doing these 3 meals a day. I was working also alongside.
Okay.
So I worked till my last day. So
Right.
I was working and I was doing all these household chores. So I was pretty much really frustrated, and I just wanted to get out. I used to have panic attacks because I was so frustrated with the lockdown.
So how you managed with the baby essential bag that we carry along with us to the hospital? Because generally, what happens, our mother-in-law or our mother or someone is there with us to guide us. Okay, आपको ये चाहिएगा, put this. And how did you manage with that?
So, like like you're saying, you need guidance, and at that moment, I did not. And my hospital did give me a list, but to be honest, that list was completely useless, and
Oh,
I missed most of the products. So, I would recommend all new moms that if you're expecting, so you should have a couple of things in your hospital bag for yourself, like a couple of like two dresses. That's all. Don't get more because you'll be in the hospital gown mostly. Your
right.
basic toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, body wash. Don't forget your hairband, your hair scrunchies. You will need a feeding pillow for sure. You'll need disposable panties. You'll need sanitary pads. Don't go for maternity pads; they're useless. Go for like a triple XL normal pad. Then I would say that you should take your phone, your charger, some headphones, and some snacks, whatever you feel like eating. Then you should take two nursing bras, I feel. Uh, and a nipple butter is very, very important because you suddenly start breastfeeding and your nipples become so sore. So I did not have that. And a hot water bag because your back is aching so much
Yes.
that I was under so much pain because my back was spasm, under spasm. And then a nurse had a hot water bag and she lended it to me. So that is why I would suggest everyone to have all of these things in their bag for themselves.
Right, right. So tell me, how was your breastfeeding journey? When did you first fed Noor? Like just after the operation, in the OT, or later? When?
So I breastfed Noor, I think within an hour of the delivery. So I
Oh,
had a C-section,
okay.
and in the recovery room, she was brought to me, and I was actually, doubting myself, and I was telling the nurse, I was half unconscious, but I was telling her that ये नहीं होगा. Then she and she told me that नहीं सब होगा. You just let us do our job.
Okay.
So yeah, so Noor happily latched on very quickly, and the first month she was exclusively breastfed only
Okay.
because my supply was well enough for her. I also started pumping
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted some break and I wanted to rest, and so that my mother could feed her from a bottle. But we noticed that from the second month onwards, she was she became very, very cranky and she always wanted more milk.
Okay.
And I was somehow not able to produce it, even though I was doing all the things that were mentioned. I was eating those things that we're supposed to eat, like all the ghar ka nuskas, and but somehow my supply was dwindling, and I even went to the doctor. I got it checked. My labs were fine. So my doctor recommended me to start on formula, one feed of formula.
Okay.
So that is when in the second month I started off with the formula feed. And then, I was also pumping side by side.
Okay.
But as the months passed, we were on a mixed feeding kind of schedule where she was around 30 to 40% on breastfeeding and 60 to 70 on formula. And this continued till she was 5 months. And I think at 5 months, I completely stopped breastfeeding because my milk supply had anyways gone down a lot and there was nothing left. So then I switched her on completely to formula.
Right.
So that is how my
So
breastfeeding journey
it's
went. And
right. So I think it's almost 1.5 year, right? Noor is now 1.5.
she's not 1.5, she's 15 months. So
15 months.
1.25
Yeah,
years. Yeah.
1.25. Okay. So, like in last 1.5 year, after so much of research and your study, and after definitely mothers come back to you to ask about the breastfeeding journey, what they should do. Is there any product that you came across that you miss that if that was there at that time, you don't have to give up breastfeeding at the 5th month?
So I'll tell you. So when I was breastfeeding, I was researching a lot, and I was eating. So my mother-in-law, she was very sweet and kind. She, made those laddus that we have, in the Indian tradition, those gonka laddus and everything. But I'm not that kind of, and I'm not a laddu person. I'm not a meetha person at all, and it was very difficult to eat those. So I had told her to make a very tiny amount. So I did finish those, but I could not sustain doing that.
Okay.
Um, so even though my supply improved when I was having those laddus, but then I could not sustain it.
Right.
So I was doing my research, and then I could find all these lactation cookies and brownies and bars, uh, but all of them were available outside India,
Right.
and there was nothing here. And like your Nutrizoe bar, the lactation bar, I had no idea about it. And I think you had just launched or something around that time, and I could not find you in my research, to be honest. Uh, but had it been there, it would have been so easy for me, just one bar, which is very tasty and, easy to have.
Mm-hmm.
And, that whole laddu scenario goes out of the picture.
Right. Right.
So, like I've shown your lactation bars on Tansy Mommy also many times, saying that, I wish these would have been there when I was breastfeeding. Then my journey could have been a little longer, the breastfeeding journey.
Right.
Because, I have recommended these bars to my friends and it has worked for them.
Thank you
So,
so much for that.
So it has been really, I've really missed out on those, to be honest.
Right.
And I wish I could have used them.
So as like post breastfeeding, where as Noor grew with her different stages of her this thing, what is the one thing that you will like to share with the mothers, which was very difficult for you to handle when it comes with the health issues?
Right. So I think, like all babies, the number one problem that Noor faced was gas. Because obviously, she was also on formula. Formula is a little heavier to digest. So gas was a major issue, and it used to start off by evening, and then it used to be very difficult to calm her down.
Okay.
So then, my mother told me about this family kind of, I would say, a recipe or whatever you may call it, a remedy uh, that really helped us. So I used to make a formula in a special kind of water. I used to use that water to boil. So the water was boiled with saunf and moti elaichi. So I used to use that water to make a formula,
Okay.
and I used to apply heat roll on her. And after that, after I started doing this, life was very easy, and all her gas issues went away. So I was very relieved, and so I mean that is, I think, the major issue that I faced with
That.
me.
So when we posted there are questions that we got from the mothers. There was one thing that mothers really wanted to know was how did you manage with the sleeping pattern? Like you always keep talking about the sleeping pattern of Noor. So can you guide mothers
Right.
how to get this pattern right?
So I think, Nisha, the number one problem that most mothers face is that my child is sleeping in the day and awake during the night.
Yes, yes.
So, that's because their bodies their biological, I mean, their body clock, their circadian rhythm is not formed. Because in the womb, they're always in the dark. So, if your child is above 8 weeks, so 2 months old, then you can make these efforts and start creating the circadian rhythm. So every time your child wakes up, I think you should, number one, wake your baby up at the same time every day, irrespective. The
Okay.
moment the baby wakes up, open the curtains and let all the natural light come in. Wish good morning to your baby. Take your baby out in the sunlight. The basic funda is to expose your baby to as much light, daylight as possible.
Okay.
So do that. Then during the day, whenever your baby is napping or sleeping, let your baby sleep among the household noises. Don't tell people to quiet down, or don't tell them that don't talk, or don't make
Right.
noise. Let the baby sleep in normal household noises. That way, he will or she will be more. Whenever she'll be sleeping in that deep sleep mode, and she'll understand that daytime is for working and nighttime is for sleeping.
First.
And when whenever time you decide to let your baby sleep, then you've got to close the curtains, make your room pitch dark, have a proper bedtime routine in place, and wish your baby good night, and then take your baby inside, put on some soothing music, and then is the time to tell everyone in the house to not make noise so that the child
Right.
understands that night is for quiet sleeping. And it doesn't even take 2 weeks for the child to learn this. And I think that will solve their number one problem of this day night issue.
So, Tanya, tell me something about weaning. Like, how is the process of weaning? For some mothers, it becomes very painful. And for some, it's very easy.
Uh,
So, some tips for this.
Right. So I think weaning is a very, very important step, or I would say phase in both a mother's and a new child's life, because the child is going to be learning to transition away from milk and being dependent on solids. So these days, there are two approaches to weaning: baby-led weaning, traditional weaning. So
Okay.
I would just recommend all moms that whatever method you choose, you should first read up on each method in detail, look at the pros and cons, and then pick one method. And whatever you pick, you've got to stick to it. Please don't keep
Okay.
changing the method after a month or two, because you're confusing the baby, and at the end of all of this confusion, you will get a baby who doesn't need anything.
Right.
And if you do decide to start with traditional weaning, since I have been practicing that and I can only give tips on that, you should start with just one meal a day. Please don't rush. Don't suddenly start with two, three, four meals. Just start with one meal a day. It can be either a fruit, vegetable, or a cereal. Go slow. Introduce these meals during the daytime around 12 or 1 o'clock.
Right.
And ensure that you're feeding your baby in a seated position in a high chair, in a very, very happy environment. You've got to create that good environment so that your child resonates mealtime with happiness and not forceful feeding. And you should respect your baby's appetite and not compare that, uska bachcha to itna kha raha hai, mera to khata nahi hai. Because you should not do that. Because the
So, it's a
moment you
common
start doing
thing.
that,
Right. Right.
yeah, the moment you start doing that, your weaning process goes down the drain.
Okay.
So I think, just recommend these, small tips, because otherwise there is so much about weaning, and that's what I explain to mothers in my workshop. But
Right.
I think, to summarize, I think this is the key to weaning.
Right, right. So completely, I agree with you that it's a general, it's a general thing with the mother. We try one thing today and नहीं हुआ, and the third day we are trying something else. कहीं कुछ तो click हो जाएगा times.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
should not be
absolutely.
doing that. We should stick to one
Yes, yes,
thing, definitely.
yes, yes.
So, Tanya, as a mom, we are always excited about the milestones. So the first teeth, the first
Right.
smile, the first crawl. So recently when I saw your post, I saw Noor crawling and then trying to stand up, holding things and everything. So how was that experience? And what are your suggestions for the moms at this stage?
Well, so I think these two milestones have been very close to my heart, and so she started crawling around 7 months, and so so she was a little on the heavier side, and the doctor was a little skeptical, about her crawling early. But she started crawling pretty early, and I still remember, I used to put a lot of effort in order to make her crawl, and those first steps when she did crawl, those were like I think uh, the moments to remember, I would say, and very close to my heart. And so when she was started walking, so I would just recommend everyone that if you want your child to crawl faster, number one, I mean, I think the only thing you can do is give your child lots and lots of tummy time right from birth. You should start from 5 minutes a day, and by 4 5 months, it should be around 1 hour a day of tummy time. uh, then you should give floor time, a lot of floor time. Buy a good play mat, invest in a good play mat, or even your carpet or whatever, and give tummy time on that. Your child should understand that it is not always the bed where the child has to
Right.
be. And then for crawling, please don't use any knee pads, knee protectors. Your child needs to learn how to crawl on the floor. He will not get hurt. Don't worry. They have a lot of flesh and cartilage, and they will not get hurt. Only when they learn to crawl without that is when their knees and their bones get strong.
Right.
So, and you should obviously invest in a few crawling toys. Just put something attractive so that the baby wants to reach out to it and he crawls. So I think for crawling, I would recommend that. For walking, I would say please do not buy any walker. No traditional walker, no push walker also, and whenever your baby is trying to stand or pull, don't start making him wear shoes. Shoes are not supposed to be, given to your babies before they learn to walk. Give your baby opportunities to stand, pull to stand, whether it be on their own crib or if they're on the floor and they're trying to pull using the table. So give those opportunities. Once they start doing that, then give them opportunities to walk. So first, children walk horizontally. So you should put some toys on one end of the sofa and which the baby really likes. And if the baby is sitting here, then the baby will go there. She will take steps.
So the law of
And
attraction.
last, yes. And you should hold your baby's hands and then make her walk. So you should hold them from front. Don't stand behind and then make your baby walk like this. Hold, from the front like you're calling the baby and
Right.
then make her walk. So all of that will make their legs strong and they will automatically start walking whenever they have to. Walkers will actually delay their walking milestone.
Okay.
So please stay away from walkers.
So, as we all like we talk about fitness, not only you are so fit, but you're passing the same legacy to your young ones. I don't know how many mothers have seen, but I think I saw that Noor was trying to copy the plank positions and other yoga positions with you. So, how did you manage to
Yes.
do that?
So to be honest, I haven't done anything. I haven't like specifically taught her. So every morning, so this has been going on since a very long time. We start our day with a workout. So my husband, he will either work out at home or go to the gym. And since Noor has been born, I've been always working out at home.
Right.
So I have a separate room. So since she started crawling, she knows that there's a particular room where I go for an hour and I exercise.
Okay.
So since 7 months, she's been observing me, and then one fine day, she just started doing it herself because the time I'm exercising, she's always, roaming here and there around me. So yeah, that was a very, very happy moment for me, and it really, really made me happy actually. So I would just say that this is an example of modeling. So if you model something in front of your babies, they will learn it without you getting after them to learn something.
Right. So definitely, we always say what babies see, they pick it up and they learn it very
Yes,
quickly. So she's been
exactly.
seeing you like from months, and now the results are there. So I think we have a mother, Deepika. She's asking which month baby turn around, crawl, and sit.
So Deepika, there is there are obviously certain guidelines as per milestones where babies should do particular things, but then every baby is different. And some babies might do that earlier than the guideline, some may do it later, but the usual general guideline is that a baby usually starts rolling over by fourth or fifth month,
Right.
and he starts to crawl anywhere between 6 to 8 months,
Okay.
and he can walk from anywhere between 9 to 18 months.
So nothing is too early, too late. Even if a baby is walking at 12 months or 14 months, it is okay.
Yeah, I mean, and also you can't do anything. If your
Right.
baby is still not walking at, say, 18 months, you can't do anything. You cannot, like take him and ask him to walk, or, just
Right.
force him.
Right.
He will only start walking when he wants to.
So there is another mother named Richa. She's asking, my doctor asked me to shift on formula milk. I really want to breastfeed, but I'm facing low milk supply. What should I do?
So I think, I mean, I'm not sure whether you've tried various things to increase your breast milk supply or not. I have a detailed thing on this that I've done. But to summarize, I think you should, number one, ensure your baby has a good latch. Uh, Try power pumping. So power pumping is that you, after every breastfeeding session, you pump for 5 minutes to completely empty the breast. Or you can try, including various things in your diet, like having a good amount of grains like atta, chawal, or oats, having saunf, ajwain in your daily diet, having cinnamon, shatavari, um, what about that? Saunf, ajwain, and there's one more thing, methi dana, yes. But if you can't do all of this, I think you should buy a lactation bar and eat that twice a day, because that has all of these things. That has ghee, and that has all of these herbs of cinnamon and shatavari and all of this that helps in boosting milk supply.
Okay.
So I think try these for another 15, 20 days or 1 month. And if still, your supply doesn't boost, then you can probably consider formula milk. But I think this should start working.
Okay. So is there any like where they should buy? Is there any code they can use or anything you have when you suggest mothers?
Yes. So, if you are interested in purchasing these lactation bars, then you can use my code Tanya5, where you get a 5% discount on these lactation bars. And they come in, various packs, a pack of six, and so on. And you can buy them, and you can have them twice a day. And they're also very, very rich in iron because they're made of dates. I think this you can try these if you're looking to increase your to boost your milk supply.
Yes, so they can try and search product name as lactobites, or they can see on our website www.nutrizoe.com. So we'll be sharing all these details while we are posting this video along with Tanya's code. And yes, there is a mother named as Samantha. Yes, Samantha, you can ask the question, not an issue. So as we have just few minutes left with Tanya, you can put your question. And also, Tanya, you talk a lot about self-feeding, right? So how did you
Right.
introduce my baby? My baby's 2.5 months old. She is crying a lot.
So the baby can cry for any reason. It can be gas, it can be colic, it can be baby is hungry, the baby is sleepy, or your baby is overtired,
Yes.
or there is some piece of clothing that is irritating your baby. The baby is too warm, the baby is too cold. So, there can be hundreds of reasons, and because crying is the only way babies can communicate till at least 10 months or so, 8 or 9 months at least. So I would just suggest that you should start eliminating each cause and go with one by one, and check with hunger, sleep, gas, colic, and you will soon get your answer, because At the end of the day, you're the child's mother, and only you can figure out what's wrong with the baby. I cannot sit here and tell you.
So the whole thing is that's the fun part of being a mother, that you have to understand the language of the baby where there's no words, and still you have
Yes,
to keep researching exactly why the baby is crying, and you have to monitor the baby very closely. And once you remove the
exactly.
cause, they'll be all good. So I have one question that my baby is 5 months. Every 4 to 5 days, he gets cold and snoring voice while he awake that time.
Sorry, I didn't get it. What does it say? What is the problem?
What is the problem? Even I didn't got that. Either the cold is the problem or the snoring voice is the problem. I think the baby is getting cold very. She is catching cold.
So I think then you should use nasoclear drops.
Okay.
These are basic saline drops, the salt water solution available in the chemist twice a day for sure. You should show your child to a doctor and get prescribed medicines. And keep your baby warm and ensure that she's not exposed to a lot of temperature changes. So, cold usually happens when it's been picked up by a virus, when someone else is having cold, or the baby is exposed to sudden frequent temperature changes, like from AC to room temperature, sudden temperature change.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So I think there are a lot of questions coming up. Some others, I just a request. We are out of the time. So keep putting your questions, keep adding your questions in our direct messages or DMs. We will share these questions with Tanya, and we'll get back to you with all the answers. And in case you want to know more about our product Lactobites, please do mention. We will come back to you. And Tanya, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all the information that you have shared with the mothers. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Nita, for
much,
having
dear.
me. Thank you so much for having me and
Pleasure is all
asking me
mine,
about
dear.
all of these questions in my journey. I think you're the first person whom I've done a live with who has
Definitely.
actually yes
See,
done
it's a
live on this
Zoemom
topic.
story. So before I'm asking anything about what you are doing, I have to know what is your story. From a mother, how you came to this place. That is the beauty of a Zoemom.
Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you
I'm so
so
glad
much,
to be
dear.
your first Zoom mom.
Yes.
Uh, really, really obliged. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Tanya. Have a nice evening. Thank you, mommies, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye, dear. See you all next week with our lactation consultant, Ankita Malik. तब तक के लिए टाटा बाय बाय.